Okay, after evaluating the film, it was pretty much what everybody saw Saturday night. You know, we played really well in so many different areas and really did some great things throughout the game in all three phases. But we didn't make enough plays to win the football game, and they made one more than we did. And so we needed to find a way to make a play, you know, one more than we did and at any point in the game. And there were opportunities that were there. And so I would say just overall it was a, you know, missed opportunities was the reason we weren't successful Saturday night.
How do you balance imparting on them the many positive things they did with the fact that there were some huge mistakes that were ultimately costly?
Yeah, I mean, you point those out. I mean, you're pointing out the good things. You're wanting guys to learn, and you're wanting guys to build on the good things, and then you're wanting to learn from the mistakes they made or the lack of plays that they made in certain situations, so that they learn from those things also and understand how close we are, that we just need to make the ordinary play that presents itself in the game.
Are you pleased with their response yesterday?
Yeah, they were hurting, no doubt about it. You know, and watching the film didn't make you feel any better. You know, I mean, but again, you know, they come over here and they get the truth. We show them what they did really well, and we show them what they didn't do well, and hopefully we learn from the mistakes that we made.
Are you a big silver linings guy, or is that something you try to avoid, or how do you, similar to that kind of question, like how do you approach that?
I'm always looking for the positives in everything that we do, you know, and but I'm not afraid to point out the negatives also. You know, I mean, I think you got to see both sides of it. You got to understand the ramifications of when you don't do things that you need to do. I mean, in a game like that, you make one more play and you win a football game. So that's the difference. It's that close. It's the little details that are the difference in winning.
Larry, along those lines, 1 touchdown and I think 7 red zone trips. Is that a matter, you watch the film and say, we had everything schemed up exactly how we wanted it, we just got to finish?
Yeah, I go back and look at what we used down there, what we called, what we had planned for, and that was no different from how I felt about things that we had in other areas of the field. I thought we had a good plan. We have to, but we got to finish, we got to execute, we have to, you know, you got to have a nose for the end zone, and you got to get in there.
How do you practice red zone offense? What are some ways that you've been in your history to practice that?
Well, you carve, just like everything else that you do, you carve out time during the week, and the red zone plays that you are planning to use in the game, that's what you work on during that time period, and you plan. I mean, you do that every week, just like you work on 2-minute or 4-minute or goal line or third downs, or I mean, you have to, you know, you got to carve out time for all those areas in the field.
After looking at the film, what did you further see from Cade Fortin's performance?
I thought he did a really nice job. I mean, there were a couple throws that he would like to have had back, but you know, when you really watched what he did, he took care of the football. You know, he didn't throw the ball into coverage. You know, there may be a couple where his feet got a little bit happy and he was concerned with the rush, but that was early, and then he kind of settled in, and I thought he did a nice job.
How does he change the offense for you?
Well, one, he's got a really big arm. I mean, he can throw the football anywhere and make every throw that you possibly want, and he's got a pretty good head on his shoulders. You know, you know, as you guys will get to know him in the future, he's just a real level-headed guy. I mean, he doesn't get rattled. You know, he doesn't. No matter how hard I get on him, he kind of stays the same. If I praise him, he kind of stays the same. He just very even-keeled, which I think is a good characteristic to have for a quarterback.
Do you have an update on Cade's availability?
I do not.
When he decommitted from Texas A&M, you guys had already recruited him previously.
Yeah, we were recruiting.
So you had an established relationship. How quickly did things go from him decommitting to where you thought, okay, not only do we have him, but he's going to sign in a week?
It happened pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, it happened real quick because he came to school in January, so everything had to get done.
Yeah.
You know, and his semester was coming to an end, and so was ours, and so it had to be done quickly. So the good thing was that we had stayed in touch with him, throughout the recruiting process.
How soon after his decommitment, when he reached out to you guys, or when that communication kind of picked up again, did you think we've got
The
him?
communication didn't ever stop. I mean, we were staying in contact with him. So I don't know like what day or any of those things, and it was not like that he had to reach out to us because we were reaching out to him.
What made you trust that he'd be the right quarterback for you all, despite not seeing much because he didn't play very much? I mean,
You talking about his first senior year?
Mhm.
Yeah, he messed up his leg and didn't play his entire senior year. But we had seen enough from junior film when we offered him, and seeing him throw in person and doing all the things that we do when we evaluate a quarterback, that we felt like he would be, an asset to our football team.
Did he camped here in one of those June camps, didn't he, or maybe Heckendorf's
He did.
thing? Do you remember?
Summer camps.
Yeah.
You're asking me to, yes, I guess.
Okay. I thought I remember.
You
him
have to
being
ask
there.
Heck, I mean, that's too far back for me.
A couple of the defensive players talked about after the game, the ability for the front four to get pressure without having to send extra help. Did that play out on film?
Oh, yeah, that was, we got those four guys up front, with, Malik and Fox, and then you got Tyler Powell and Strobridge. Those guys, those front four got pressure the entire night. I mean, we didn't have to send other people. And they got 4 sacks when we were just bringing 4. Probably should have had a couple more, and so when you can do that, that helps your entire defense because you can do so much. And those guys not only did they do that, they did a great job against the run also.
And Antonio Williams' carries have dipped a little bit. Is that a matter of you all feeding the hot hand, or?
Yeah, it's just that. I mean, it's just feeding the hot hand, and it was unfortunate that he put the ball on the ground on the first play, and then Mike comes in, and Mike's running really well. So he's the hot hand, and so we went with him.
You've had a lot of talented backs that you've coached. Is there something unique about Michael, maybe a little bit different that with his skill set that maybe stands out?
Mike's challenged vertically, but he's got great, he's got really good feet. I mean, really good feet. You go back to the last one that was like that was Gio. I mean, he was challenged vertically also, but he's still playing. I mean, because his feet, and he's got such great feet, such great quickness, change of directions. He can, he's one of those guys that he can make you miss in the phone booth, but and then he can accelerate. He can start and stop on a dime and get going sideways and then get back vertical. He's got a great jump cut. And Mike's tough. He does a great job in protection. He's not. He's a tough-minded kid in everything that he does.
He spoke after the game about the fumble, and he referenced something that he learned from, I think it was LeBron James or something like that, about that moment that you never want to experience again. Is he mature enough, the kind of guy that can take that moment and really make something of it, and
No
so
doubt
it doesn't
about it.
come
Mike's a very mature kid. He stepped on this campus mature as a freshman, and the way he's handled everything. I mean, from becoming very vocal with the team and as a sophomore, and he's just a kid that is mature, and he's going to handle that situation. He's going to be a better player because of it.
What are your initial impressions of Syracuse?
I would say their front four is really good on defense. I mean, they've done a great job. I think both defensive ends have 6 sacks each. And their 2 inside guys are really good. They're not as experienced, I would say, at the linebacker position, but they're playing really well together. I would imagine they'll be fresh and healthy coming out of their open week. And I've got a lot of respect for that quarterback. I mean, he's a tough, gritty, hard-nosed guy that can throw it. He doesn't look to slide. I mean, he wants to run over you. And you can tell that the team feeds off of him. I mean, he's who wouldn't want to play for a guy like that?
Has your path ever crossed with Dina?
No, we haven't. We haven't. I can't recall ever playing against Dina.
Will Malik Hardy play against Syracuse? Because I know you made him available against Virginia.
Yeah, it's still up in the air right now.
And that depends on the health of availability of other defensive linemen.
Well, it ultimately depends on what the NCAA says.
So you all are applying for?
I didn't say that.
Are you all?
I don't know at this time.
You've coached indoors before, a couple years ago, the Georgia game, but Carrier Dome, a little smaller, a little tighter space.
Yeah, I've never been
I
in
think
it.
the
I've
echo-
never been in it, so.
Do you call people that you know in the business to ask them if there's some
Oh, yeah.
particulars
Yeah,
about
sure.
that?
Yeah, I've done a lot of research.
Can
Talked
you-
to a lot of people that have been there, and, you know, whatever the common theme that everybody talks about is how warm it gets in there, you know? And so that's something that everybody talks about, and you always know in a dome, you got a chance for it to be loud, you know? So, you know, we've got to be prepared for everything.
What do you think about the atmosphere on Saturday night?
I thought the atmosphere was great. You know, I thought our fans did a tremendous job. The student section was awesome. You know, it was, you couldn't have asked for any more. You know, and they were there to the end, and, you know, I heard for them also that we weren't able to pull out a win for them.
Anything else? All right, thank you, folks.
Thank you all.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I just don't know the answer to that.